Hello, my dear friend. Okay, we are not friends yet. No problem. Are you ready? Today we are continuing first of all our journey into cybersecurity basics, and today we are going to talk about cyber warfare, the concept of cyber warfare. I cannot pronounce this word right, and I will also point out that my English is not good, but I will try my best. And if you have difficulty to understand, you can put your question in writing either in the commenting area, or can send me via the contact link that is in the description of this video. There I will put you the answer in writing, and I hope it will help you then, because my English when I am trying to speak it's not good at all. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we are going to talk about the concept of cyber warfare. Okay, so are you ready? Here we go. In cyber warfare, the basic description is the use of technology to penetrate and attack another nation's computer system and network. The use of technology to penetrate and attack another nation's computer system and network. And you may ask, why are they doing that? Are they crazy? Yeah, maybe. But the primary objective of cyber warfare is gathering intelligent or compromised information. And it can be, for example, another nation's trades secret to gain a competitive edge over the other nations. It can't be information or intelligence on the defense secret of other nation, to know what they are up to, and so on. It depends on who the attacker side is, the side that is waging the cyber warfare, and they have different objective and motivation. And the other primary objective is to either disrupt disrupt disrupting critical infrastructure services or damage them. Disrupting or damage critical I cannot write this one right. Critical. I will torture you with my perfect English. I am sorry about that one. Critical infrastructure. So, for example, it can be a hospital system, it can be energy system, it can be water supply, because today everything is connected to the internet. If the internet is down, then it's over. Okay, so we have mentioned what is a little bit what is cyber warfare and the primary objective of that. And you may then we will come to next point, that cyber warfare takes various forms or various type. Cyber warfare can take various or different uh, forms. Here we include some example. As I mentioned, it depends on the objective of the site that is waging cyber warfare on other nations. It can be espionage, Their goal is just to gather intelligent information on critical infrastructure or defense or intelligence secrets or trade secret. And here the goal is stealing confidential information from governments, governments. I'm not sure if I wrote it correctly. Governments. It can be businesses that is critical. For example, defense industry or critical industry, for example, that making chips, which is critical, semiconductor, and things like that. Business that is for example, it can be the targeting the aviation industry to know how to, for example, they're building their uh, planes, businesses, ensure the businesses that is very critical to a nation, or it can be also individual. Here, for example, the goal is to gather compromise information on the leader of a nation that they can blackmail to achieve their goal. Okay, and the other, it can be the other variant. The goal is to sabotage, not just espionage. Sabotage. Here, the objective is to disrupting the operation of critical infrastructure like power grids, financial system or banking, financial system, or it can be communication network. Each and every one of them is very important to the nation, every nation today. For example, if the power grid is down, then the hospital, the stores, you cannot buy things, and everything is down. Nothing is going to work basically if you don't have the backup power. And if the network is down, then also, because every hospital today, everything in the modern hospital, they're depending on the network and internet. If they're down, then the whole system will be down. They cannot be work. Or for example, if the internet is down, in today the local store, you cannot buy anything because you are using your credit card to pay, and the store is depend on the internet that the system is working. You cannot pay or buy anything if the either internet is down, for example, and so on. Then if it's not sabotage, it can be also in the form of denial of service attack. We will talk about what is denial of service attack and how uh, its consequences in the video that is specifically about the denial of service attack. Denial of service attack, or short for DOS attack. Okay, here the goal is to overwhelming systems to make them unavailable for legitimate user. Unavailable available to user. And the last one, we are also going to talk about the malware and its variants in the specifically in a video that is about malware, what it is and which variant it has. Malware and ransomware. Ransomware. Here you are basically taking hostage the system. It can be for a company or hospital or the government agencies network system. Introducing malicious software to damage or control systems, often demanding, again, what is the demand? It's depending the site that is waging the cyber warfare. They have different objective. Ransom to restore access to the system. Okay, then after that we have mentioned the variant that the cyber warfare can happen. It was espionage, sabotage, denial of service attacks, or malware. There can be many other variants, but here we have mentioned the usual one or the main. And you may ask, who is doing that? The key player. That is a good question. I'm very happy that you have asked. Here I have tried to categorize in the under the title of the key player that is waging cyber warfare. The key players. This first of all, it can be nation states. They have enormous resources and also they have legal system on their side. Basically, the government orders specific agencies that is working in the cyber space that do this, and they are doing it. Okay, and it can be the other group that can be hacktivist. Their motivation is different from nation state. Nation state, they maybe the primary objective is to gather intelligence on the defense and trade secret and secrets and critical infrastructure like energy system. The hacktivist it depends on which they are working based on their political motivation. They have political objective. Okay, then the other group is so-called terrorist group. Depending what is the objective. For example, they will scare the population or damage some infrastructure. They can also wage a cyber warfare. And the fourth group is cyber criminal. They have often their objective is economical reason. Cyber criminals. Each of this group, these are the key player. Okay, they are organized cyber organized type of cyber attacker, which we have mentioned in the video. Then we explained the introduction uh, to cyber attacker. We have mentioned this groups. Okay, and each one of this group, each one, each has different motivation or objective, and depending on which resources they have, they can use different methods. For example, if you take a nation state, if you take a nation states, uh, their goal is to that they are doing waging cyber warfare is to gain strategic advantages. While if we think about cyber criminals, their motivation often is financially. They will gain. They will gain. They go after the money, basically. Often, maybe not always, but often financial. They have financial motivation, financially motivated. Motivated. And if you think about the hack twist, they have political objective or idea. If you take the terrorist group, then they also have a little bit political objective to scare the population of a nation to achieve their goal. As I mentioned, these are the four key players, and based on which uh, objective or goal have, each one of them have different motivation, and they are using different methods based on the resource that is they have on their hand. Okay, then if you are ready, we have a nice example in the real world example. There are many, but one of them that uh, was eye-catching was Stuxnet in 2010. It was a malware attack, malware attack on Iran's nuclear nuclear facilities. It was alleged that the US and Israel was behind it. Okay, so this is just one example that has happened in the real world. Okay, then after I hope that you I did not scare you much. Then you may ask. Now we have learned what is cyber warfare and mm, which are the key player and their motivation. Is there a method or a strategy to defend against it? Here again, I'm going to mention some example, but every nation defending depend on the resource available to them. They are using different strategies, but here is the some of them that can be very helpful defending against cyber warfare. So there are many different strategies and methods that can be used, but some of them we are going to mention here. First of all, obviously, it is cyber security measures, and these measures comes in many variants. For example, implementing wirefall. We are going to talk about what is wirefall and how it's work and its variants in the video that is specifically about firewall. Okay, but not implementing firewall. Here we're just going to mention it. That is the it is the one of the main measure or defense mechanism when it comes to cyber security measure. Then we have encryption. We are not going to talk about in detail what is encryption. We will come to it specifically. There are when it comes to I will start a course in the future, or not a course, but I will share my knowledge specifically when it comes to encryption in the separate episode, not here. Here we just have to know that it is also one of the main defense measure. Okay, and you may ask what is there other also? Yes, we have intrusion detection system. We are not talking about going to talk about what it is and how it's work here, and we also can use intrusion prevention system. We are going to talk about this too in our journey into basic cyber security, and this also in the coming video that is specifically about them. Okay, but this one we are not going to talk about it here. I will start a separate page and share my knowledge when it comes to encryption. Okay, so and this was about cybersecurity measure. You may ask, are these enough? Nope, they are not enough. And you may ask, what can we do more? Here we can use the most effective one is the international, because As I mentioned before, there is no 100% security when it comes to cyberspace. If anyone tells you that I can guarantee and develop 100% security measure to protect your asset when it comes to digital space, they are lying to you. There is no 100%. But we can do um, uh, because the goal, basically the goal of cybersecurity is not to it is not possible to have 100% security. The goal is to develop a layer defense system or mechanism so that it will be very difficult for the attacker or the aggressor to achieve their goal. It will be not easy for them. We It will be costly, and the method that we are using to defend, it will be not easy. They must have very much a lot of resources to be able to break through the defense layer. Okay, that is the goal. We cannot achieve 100%, but we can have the best defense policy that it will be not easy for the attacker to achieve their goal. Our goal is to make it as much hard and painful as possible for the attacker. That is the goal. Okay, here when it comes to cyber warfare, the other mechanism, it is international cooperation. Unfortunately, today it's not happening much. Everybody has divided in the on their side, and nation working together to establish norms and share intelligence and cyber threats. One of the effective method is international cooperation between the nation states. If everybody comes together and develop a policy, norms, and directive, the risk of cyber warfare will be very low. We cannot eliminate it, but it will be low because everybody have basically understanding what is allowed and what is not allowed to do. Uh, then the third policy or mechanism or measure is public awareness. Public awareness. Here, educating individual, educating individuals and organization on best practices. Best practices. We are going to talk about what is the best practices and example in the video that is specifically about best practices. We will come to that in the future videos. Best practices to prevent cyber attacks. One of the key measures against cyber attack or cyber warfare is if you have educated population or user, then you will come a long way in your defense mechanism, because even if you have the best defense mechanism or policy in place, if you don't have educated population or user that are using that, then that defense policy is worthless, because the defense policy will be measured based on the weakest link in your consideration. Yeah, as I mentioned, if you have the best defense policy and measure in place, the people that are using that policy or the population, if they are not educated, then that defense policy is worthless, because the attacker will always try their luck on the weakest link. If they found the weakest link, then the whole defense policy, like a domino effect, will fall. So here here were three here we have three measure. The first one, cybersecurity measure, basically. Then the other two is international cooperation and public awareness. They are very important one. Um, you may ask why I need to learn about cyber warfare in this long and painful video. I agree that is this video is a little bit longer compared to the previous one, but here are some implication that may change your mind, that you need to be aware of it and have knowledge what is cyber warfare. Here we are going to mention some implication of cyber warfare. They are profound and effective. The implication of cyber warfare are profound, profound. They are affecting national security, they can affect the economy of the nation, economic stability, and public, they can affect public safety, safety. And you may ask, I am just a uh, usual person, I'm not working in the government, why I will be affected? For example, that you should not think like that. For if you going to talk about the hospital system, they are dependent very heavily on the internet today. If the attacker attacks the network system that the hospital is running on, then the patients that are in the hospital, they will be affected very negatively. And if you talk about energy system, electricity, electricity, they're today they're heavily dependent on the internet. If the aggressor take down the electricity system, you cannot buy, the phone line will be down, you cannot communicate, you cannot access your banking system, you cannot buy food. Yeah, this will affect you basically, unfortunately. Okay, so what we are going to talk about, I promise uh, this will be video will be in soon. There is a little bit left that we are going to talk about. mm, as as technology as technology evolves, so does so do the methods and sophistication of cyber attacks. As we mentioned in the video at the beginning of this our journey, what is cyber security? There we mentioned it is ongoing effort, because the method of attack and the technology, the new method comes every day. Then you have to basically uh, start your and edit your defense policy to include the new method of attack that you can affect your system. So therefore it is crucial therefore it is crucial for nations to continuously. It is not enough to just develop a policy up, okay, then 10 years later you are using the same policy. That is not a good idea. You can use it as a base, those previous policies, but you need to renew it and update it to take into consideration the new method of the new methods that the attacker using. Okay, continuously enhance I cannot write enhance continuously enhance their cybersecurity defenses, their cyber security defense. Okay, what have we have learned? And you may ask why I need to learn this. Here the summary or conclusion. And we have two scenario. I will ask in return a question. How can you, in which scenario you can design and implement an effective defense mechanism? The scenario A, you do not you don't know your enemy, you do not know the attacker. Here you don't know their motivation, which resources they have, what they are aiming or what their objective. And B is your attacker or opponent or enemy. You know their resources, you know their motivation, you know what they are after, and you know their objective. And in this scenario, which one of them, based on which one scenario, you can design a very effective defense policies? Obviously, if the answer is B, then you're correct. When you know your enemy, you have the information about it, who they are, what motivates them, you know their resources, you know their capabilities, then you can take effective measure to counter those. If you don't know them, then I will be sorry for that nation that do not know the enemy, then they will try to basically put in place defense policies which will not work. Therefore, in conclusion, we will come here, right? Cyber warfare, cyber warfare is so it's a complex and evolving field. It is not a constant. It changes every day because the new technology comes into play. Therefore, when the new technology comes, the new weaknesses will emerge. The new method of attack. The attacker, they have a good imagination. They can think of the way to attack, and you didn't take into consideration, or maybe you didn't even thought about it. They can find ways. Evolving field that encompasses various tactics. It also mm, involves different players. As I mentioned, you need to know your enemy to have effective policy players and defenses. If you know your enemy best, then you can have effective defense policy. If you don't know, then it will be very difficult to have a good policy. Therefore, understanding understanding its implication or understanding its implication or consequences is essential for grasping the modern landscape of international conflict. Conflict and security. So, I hope you gain some knowledge. Knowledge is power. And the goal in this video was to inform you about the consequences of what is cyber warfare and what can it achieve. And we have mentioned some defense measure and policies. In the next video, we are going to talk about denial of service attack and distributed denial of service attack and their differences, what they can achieve, what they are and how they work and what can they achieve. We will talk about it briefly, and this will be in the next video. So I know that this video has been left long and will be very painful to watch, but I hope you have at least get some knowledge. If you have any questions so far, you can ask me either by commenting in the commenting area or contact me via link that is in the description of this video. Otherwise, have a nice day. Bye.